Let's begin with the first word, that is sedate, sedate, sedate. Sedate means calm and relaxed, tending to avoid excitement, composed. The synonyms are cool, dimmer, placid, grave, sober. And the antonyms are giddy, frivolous, energetic. Parents were worried because they felt their son was too quiet and sedate. The patient is under heavy sedation and should not be disturbed. Now you can see for yourself how the word sedate is used. Sometimes when a patient has to be operated upon, he is under heavy sedation. They give a medicine that calms your nerves, you see, composes your nerves. You become cool, you become placid, you become sober. That is under heavy sedation, you see. And sometimes that becomes a habit with some people who go for this kind of sedatives. The next word is shunt, shunt, shunt. He says to make someone or something move from one place to another, especially where they are not wanted and without consideration of any unpleasant effects. Turn aside. That is, if you shunt somebody out, in other words, you literally what you call, you ask him to get out. You ask him to move out. You say, I shunted him out. That is, you divert, you sidetrack. And of course, when you're talking about trains, you see, they talk about shunting the train. Shunting could have two meanings in trains. One, where they connect the bogies. The second meaning is when they bring the bogie to a side track so that it doesn't interfere with the normal train traffic. They divert it, they sidetrack. If the switchman failed to shunt the Rajdhani Express onto a side track, the train would plow right into the main station. Now you got the idea how it's used. The major drawback of a divorce is the harassment of the children who face shunting between the parents, that is, moving between the parents. Let's come to the next word, that is a skirmish. 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 A skirmish could be a short argument. There could be a skirmish of words, you see. A short and unplanned fight between a small group of soldiers away from the mainland. It could be a minor fight. You see, a small fight. Sometimes when you go for a wrong turn, you see, while you are driving, you might enter into a skirmish with someone who is coming in the right direction. You enter into a skirmish with them, into a tiff, a quarrel, a brawl, a spile, SPIEL, spile. So you say there had been a British skirmish between the rebels and the police force. There was a short skirmish between the political parties when the issue of privatization of the PSUs was raised in 0 hour. The skirmish is supposed to be a brawl, a tiff, a battle, a minor fight, you see. I think that's quite clear now. Let's come to the next word, that is sluggard. Sluggard, sluggard. And that's a very common word, a person who is lazy, indolent, 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 stupid or idle by habit. That is a slothful person, a poltroon person. You are a sluggard, a drone, a parasite. The angry father shouted at his son. You call someone a sluggard when he is lazy and he doesn't want to do anything. The opposite of sluggard would be being active, being energetic, working all the time. The next word is stifle. If you stifle, you suppress. You see, the original meaning of the word stifle is that is, you are unable to breathe because of a lack of air, extremely hot and unpleasant. You say it was a hot summer and the atmosphere was stifling. So if you stifle an argument, you can stifle somebody's argument. If suppose somebody argues with you, you can stifle the argument with angry words. That is, you suppress the argument with angry words. You say the students started asking questions to the teachers, but the teacher stifled their questions with the angry shout. That is, suppress their questions with the angry shout. Extinguish, inhibit, and the opposite of stifle would be stimulate. Halfway through to boarding lecture, Jyoti gave up trying to stifle her yawns. That is, suppressing her yawns. That is, she was feeling like yawning, so she started yawning. He said to have stifled his victim with a pillow. Yes, you kill someone. If somebody, you see, kills some other person by suffocation, that you call that stifling. So that's the meaning of the word stifle. Let's come to the next word, that is sully. Now, SULLY, sully, is to spoil something or someone's perfect reputation or purity, to make something dirty. You see, you sully, you blemish, BLEMISH. S-H, you blemish, you tarnish, T-A-R-N-I-S-H, tarnish. You smear somebody's character, S-M-E-A-R, smear. You spot somebody's character, you stain, S-T-A-I-N, stain somebody's character. He felt that it was beneath his dignity to sully his hands in such a menial labor. Sully his hands means dirty in his hands. His reputation, he said, had been unfairly sullied by allegations, half-truths, and innuendo. Yes, your reputation is sullied, you're tarnished, you're defamed, you're libeled, your name is maculated, M-A-C-U-L-A-T-E-D, maculated. The next word is tantrum. T-A-N-T-R-U-M, tantrum is a sudden period of uncontrolled childish anger, bit of petulance, bit of irritation. It's a caprice, or you say caprice. The child learned that he could have almost anything if he went into tantrum. That is, like children when they break into anger, you see, or show petulance. Johnny threw a tantrum in the shop because I wouldn't buy him sweet. So then you have the word temper, T-E-M-P-E-R, temper. So temper has several meanings that way. When someone becomes angry very quickly, you say he is a man of temper. He was in high temper, or he was short tempered. To make something less strong, extreme, that is, you temper something, you moderate it. That is, you make it something less strong or less extreme. To heat and then cool a metal in order to make it hard. That is also temper. You temper iron, you see. You temper other metals sometimes. So that is also one meaning. The synonym is moderate. Not even her supervisor's grumpiness could temper Natasha's enthusiasm for a new job. So it couldn't possibly bring down her excitement. He's got a really bad temper. That is, a bad temper means he gets angry very quickly. The next word is terse, T-E-R-S-E, terse. Terse is being laconic, being brief, being pithy, P-I-T-H-Y, pithy. Using few words, sometimes in a way that seems rude or unfriendly, concise, brief. The opposite would be verbose, loquacious, lengthy, talkative, garrulous. Prolix, P-R-O-L-I-X, prolix. The book was a collection of terse and powerful articles, but short articles. Are you feeling any better? No, was a terse reply. Somebody could choose to be very terse, they may not choose to give you full answer. They may be terse, very succinct, very brief. Tirade, that's the next word. T-I-R-A-D-E, tirade. A tirade is a long, angry speech expressing strong disapproval. It could be a denunciation, it could be a harangue, it could be a scolding also, particularly during when you have your college elections or the elections, general elections, anywhere elections you see, you have the different candidates, they sometimes go for haranguing, they go for tirade. Parents generally, you see, they go into a tirade against the children's bad habits. He launched into a familiar tirade against the new policies. She launched into angry, furious tirade about how she had been unfairly treated. Yes, that is a long, angry speech. That is a harangue, a tirade. I think that's clear now. The next word is torrent, T-O-R-R-E-N-T, torrent. When you talk about rain pouring down all of a sudden, you see, and in large quantities, you call it a torrent of rain. It could be also used. Sometimes if somebody uses, you see, a large number of abusive words, you say he leveled a torrent of abuses at me when accidentally I happened to cross his way. He embarked upon a torrent of abuses. That is a large amount, especially one which seems to be uncontrollable, a large amount of fast-moving water. So a current, a downpour, a stream, a flood, an inundation. The opposite of torrent would be, of course, a trickle, a drop, a drip. They are worried that the flow trickle stream of stories could swell into an unmanageable torrent if there are no controls. The boss let out a torrent of angry words at his late arrival. So let's look at the next word, trite, T-R-I-T-E, trite. Something which is expressed too frequently to be interesting, something which is hackneyed, something which is commonplace, banal, something which is monotonous, something which is dull. The antonym is startling. Trite and predictable situations in many television serials alienate many viewers. It was a trite joke and couldn't cause laughter. Something which is hackneyed, something which is over. A trite remark. Sometimes we say, We meet each other. We say, "Well, how are you? Are you fine?" That is now when you say that, that is very trite. Or you meet someone, we say, "Oh, well, it's very hot today. It's very cold today." You see, they're all trite remarks. The next word is turmoil. Turmoil. A turmoil is a great commotion, confusion, agitation, unrest, bustle, tumult, turbulence. The stock exchange is in turmoil are following a huge wave of selling. After the killing of the president, the whole country was in a political turmoil. It could be a political turmoil. It could be a social turmoil. It could be also a mental turmoil. The students were in a mental turmoil after they came to know that several of the exams they had appeared for had been cancelled. The next word is untoward. 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 Untoward is something unexpected and inconvenient, something which is unfortunate, something which is unlucky, adverse. The opposite would be lucky, something favorable, or something toward. Unless anything untoward happens, we should arrive just before midday. If somebody gets late, you see, he's supposed to be there at 8 o'clock or 5 o'clock, and he's supposed to there be at 5 o'clock sharp, right? And he doesn't come. You call him up and say, "I'm sure nothing untoward has happened because you haven't come." Has anything untoward happened? That is, has something adverse, something inconvenient, something unfortunate has happened? The situation is under control and no untoward incidents are taken place according to the district administration. You read in the daily newspapers that you have people quarreling or communities quarreling, or you have riots you see at some places, and then the journalist reports. He says there was no untoward incident reported. The police, you see, pacified both the agitating parties, and there was no untoward incident. The next word is vendetta. Vendetta. Vendetta is revenge. It is enmity, vindictiveness, retribution. A long and violent argument between people or families in which one group tries to harm the other in order to punish them for things that have happened in the past. Right? It could be a blood feud also. The rival mobs engaged in bitter vendetta. He saw himself as the victim of a personal vendetta being waged by his political enemy. The next word is abandon. Abandon. To abandon is to give up, to leave a place, thing, or person forever. To relinquish, 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 to desert, to forsake. The opposite would be, of course, to retain, to reclaim, to keep to yourself. Someone can abandon bad habits, someone can abandon the throne, someone can abandon the world. You say the sadhu sannyasi abandoned the world, they gave up the world. The match had to be abandoned because of rains. That's a very common use. By the time the rebel troops arrived, the village had already been abandoned. Now you have the word abstemious. Abstemious. Abstemious is sparing in eating and drinking. Temperate, moderate, continent. A man of abstemious habits, you see, doesn't eat or drink much. So the opposite of abstemious would be unreserved, abandoned. It is strange to see the bulging bellies of our so-called abstemious saints. The next word is acrimony. 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 Acrimony is what you call bitterness in speech, harshness in behavior, acerbity, causticity, spiteful, hostile. You give someone an acrimonious reply, an angry reply, a reply full of bitterness and harshness, being caustic. The opposite would be gentleness, mildness, courteous, harmonious, musical. Rani is as a helping girl, but acrimony has turned many of her friends into enemies. The acrimony of the dispute has shocked a lot of people. He was acrimonious when he heard about the accident, or when he heard that he has been deceived. Let's come to the next word, admonish. 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 Admonish is to warn, to reprimand, to rebuke, to scold, to chide, to remonstrate. And the opposite would be to praise, to command. His mother admonished him for eating too quickly, or you say the teacher admonished the little students to pay attention in class. His father admonished him to be more regular and punctual. That is how you use the word admonish. And the noun is, of course, admonition. Admonition, admonition. The next word is affliction. Affliction is a state of distress, cause of suffering, hardship, You may be afflicted with financial difficulties, you may be afflicted with a disease, you may be afflicted with problems. Malnutrition is one of the most common afflictions of the poor. Even in the midst of her affliction, Pooja tried to keep up the spirits of those around her. So that was hardship, suffering, distress, and the opposite would be a blessing, enjoyment.